Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new series under the Ms. Opium Empire. This series is called OOF, which is the Organization of Ordinary Folk. And today we have our very first special mystery guest, Miss Mystery. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And our subject today is fear of failure and being authentic.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just having a conversation. Both of us are in phases of making change in our careers. And we were talking about dealing with the fear of reputation and how to deal with it, like whether we really care about what people think, or if we care because it's the fear of our reputation being ruined in the industry that we're in.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah. And how to overcome that.
Yes. So the example was, I have recently left a position, and I tried to leave as much information and as many notes behind as I could, and it has come to my realization,
Mm-hmm.
there we go, that things have been said that, I didn't leave proper information behind, or I left projects unfinished, or whatever, that kind of thing. And I was making a statement how that's not how it was, but I didn't want the higher ups in the company to think that I had done it that way, and not that I necessarily cared what they thought, but I do because of the industry that we're in, and I didn't want that sort of opinion to get out to other people.
That's right.
So now we're at that point of, how do you deal with it?
Right.
So do you slough it off? Do you confront? What do you do?
Do you hold your head up high and just carry on knowing that you did the best you could? In reality, that's what people tell you should do.
Yeah.
But that's harder. That's easier said than done.
Well, it is because the industry is so small,
Mm-hmm.
and people don't necessarily know everybody, but they've heard of you, or someone else has heard of you, and the last thing you want is, oh, well, I heard that she blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Not instead of, oh yeah, I've heard of her, and I've heard that she's really competent, and blah,
right.
blah, 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 blah.
And, unfortunately, the higher ups of this particular company are of a stature in our industry that people would look to them for an opinion.
Exactly. And they know a lot of people who know a lot of people who, even if your name is brought up to this person, oh no, I don't know her, but I know who does. And then and it's interesting because I'm listening to this book called The Power of Habit, and they actually talked about that kind of thing, of how people will do a favor for a close friend or an immediate family member, and in theory, if it's somebody that you don't really know, but you've heard of them, or a friend of a friend, you're probably not as likely to do a favor, but then maybe you will, because they don't want that reputation of, so it's kind of all tied in to this whole thing. And because I'm feisty at times, it's like I want to write an email, or I want to pick up the phone and call and
stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We work hard for our reputations and for everything that we do. That's the last thing that you want, is to have this negative viewpoint of yourself when it's not true.
Exactly. So the whole thing of it is what's the best way to handle it? Like, what do you do? Like, yes, hold your head up high and keep walking.
Right, and I'm in the sort of maybe damage control, space right now, because I'm, just about to leave my job. I've got a week left, and I'm already in a spot where I'm getting to train my replacement, and I am working probably harder than I have in a long time. And really it's just to make sure that my replacement has the highest perception of me, has the highest impression of who I am and what I did for that company. Like, I'm almost obsessed over it.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, the reasoning is because I saw what happened to you, and you didn't have that opportunity to work that way, or to defend yourself, or to set yourself up for when you left. That I'm almost obsessing over the fact that I want this person to defend me after I've gone, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know that people are going to say, they always do. Everyone who always leaves a company, and maybe they didn't, they had their reasons for doing certain things a certain way, and maybe didn't communicate that, and other people don't get it. So automatically it's a negative. Oh, that person, didn't do this right, or I don't know what they were thinking. So I desperately don't want that negativity. And I don't really know where it's coming from per se, but I just know I'm hell-bent on making sure that this person is left with nothing but the highest regard for me.
Yeah.
So that, let's say after I'm gone and someone makes a comment that way, I'm hoping I have somebody to defend me. But really, I'm gone, and who cares at that point? But
well, I guess it goes back to that whole thing, and you won't necessarily have a direct pipeline back to hear what's being said about you,
well,
which
that's
I was
true.
lucky enough to have that. But the other thing too is, the last thing you want is for someone else to tell you. Like, the worst thing is when you have a contractor or a tenant call you and say, hey, I just want you to know that this is what I've heard. I know it's not true. And people who know you and that have worked with you over the years and have developed a relationship with you and know what you're like, it's great that they're loyal that way, but at the same time, it's like a knife in your heart when they call to tell you that. It's like, I know this isn't true, but I thought you should know. And it's like,
I know. And like, if you dissect that even a little bit further, it's like, why are they telling you? Like, what are they trying to accomplish? Are they, it's like just adding to the drama game almost. Like, hey, just so you know, this is what I heard. And it's like the other day when I had received some information about somebody saying something behind my back that totally wasn't true, I, immediately reacted, because none of it was true. And that's what makes me so angry, is that now I'm looking at the people who this person told, thinking, the whole time I'm walking past her, thinking, oh my gosh, she thinks that I'm, this type of person, and it's not true. And why do I care so much about what that person might perceive me? Because I do. Because I take pride in what I do. I take pride in who I am, and it matters to me.
Yeah.
But, if I go back, that person who told me what had happened, she had immediately sensed my reaction and then said, I shouldn't have told you. And I kind of thought to myself, well, maybe you shouldn't have. Because I thought, what did we accomplish? Because I can't confront that person now, because I don't want you to get in trouble.
Yeah.
And now I'm just going to stew in it.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And maybe partly, or the majority of it, is loyalty.
Yeah.
Maybe a little part of it, and this isn't directed specifically at your situation, but it, like, just overall general, people like the drama, and they like to focus on negative over positive.
It's true.
It's, you know, we don't get a lot of compliments in our industry, for sure.
Mhm.
And so, do I really want to say something nice?
Well, and I find that people tend to bond over like gossip.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
yes.
if, you know, and I'm trying not to fall prey to that, but you know, I'll admit if I hear something, it's like I instantly think I got to tell my friend about it.
Yeah.
You know, cuz I don't even know why I have to. It's just because that person will understand and we can talk together about how ridiculous it sounds. And when I'm saying it out loud, you know, it's really weird. But honestly, I feel like people, they form bonds together over sharing these secrets about other people.
Yeah, which is true.
And discussing it, you know, and it's so interesting because it's like, why can't we bond over positive things?
Well, and I guess too, like it's I mean, just to give another example of that, it's like with the weather that we've had lately, everybody was bitching every single day about the crappy weather, and yes, but really, is that all we have to focus on? And I fell into it. I fell into it. I was like, oh, the stupid weather, blah, blah, blah. But I guess it's just the same thing, and I don't know why human nature and why our makeup is made to go to the negative.
Yeah, and you know, I think too is we're seeking some sort of comfort from each other. So if you know, if someone says, oh, you know, I heard someone say this bad thing about you, can you believe it? And then that other person now participates in talking badly about the person who said the comment, right? And now it's like, I know it's this shared validation of, you know, I'm telling you that someone said this about me. Like, can you believe that they said that about me? And then your friend, your so-called friend, says to you, oh no, that's crazy, that's ridiculous, I can't believe they said that. And then it's sort of like this, I don't know, you're getting some validation from somebody that, yeah, this isn't me, right? Like I'm allowed to be mad at this person because I can't believe they said something that's totally untrue, and someone's going to validate to me instead of, why can't I validate to myself that that's not true? I want to make sure everybody knows it's not true. Like I'm on the constant defense.
I think probably it's because the person who has said what they've said about you, you don't know how many people they have said it to, right?
Yeah.
And now you're trying to be like, okay, I have to make sure that all of these people that in my mind I think know or have talked to or have heard, they know what's really true, what really happened.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that we get ourselves into that situation. But then I guess that leads us into the next topic of being authentic.
That's right.
So I guess my question for you would be, for you, what is your true feeling of how you can be authentic? You. Not generally speaking for everybody, but you. What's your authentic self?
Well, I mean, like I can be pretty stubborn at times, right? And I mean, I know this, but there's, you know, in my last situation, there was a bit of an ego, I'll admit. You know, I had come over, I had been plucked from a different position where I had full autonomy, and I had built this reputation based on that role that I had. So I ran the department. Did I do everything right all the time? Probably not. I don't know though, because I was the only one running it. I mean, did anything catastrophic happen? No, thankfully. But you know, I built a little bit of an ego there.
Yeah.
So when I made the decision to make the change, I made it consciously knowing that it was going to be different. I was going to have people above me. I was going to now have to follow certain processes, but I had made the decision that that was okay. This is what I need to do in the next stage of my life, and they want me, and they want me for me, and they want me for how I have been successful, because it's been just me. There's been nobody to lead me, guide me, tell me no, tell me to do this differently, tell me to make it pink, not blue. It was literally just, for so long, I was used to just doing my way, and I thought that that was valuable.
Yeah.
And so I had built a bit of an ego. I had moved over, and then I was rudely awakened by, you know, the all of a sudden, you know, maybe I was threatening to people above me, because now I was coming in doing it my way. It was the only way I knew, though.
Yeah.
And it had been successful.
Yeah.
So I was looking around thinking, just let me do what I do. So, you know, that was, I was, you know, fighting, and I wasn't going to win. It was a battle that I was not going to win, because that was not my role anymore, that I had to let that go. It was very, very hard. And so for me, I had been knocked down a few pegs, and that was okay. That was probably something I needed to experience. But then when I was built back up, they were trying to build me back up in their image. Mm-hmm. And I was really struggling. I was trying. I promise you that I was trying. And I was achieving the work results, the productivity results, but I was struggling with the process on how they wanted me to achieve the results.
Right.
And I was, you know, I was up and down, and in my moods and in my feelings and in my confidence. And eventually I thought, well, I'm not going to win here anymore with my way. So fine, I guess I just give in. I guess now I just give in to the style that they want me to achieve these results. That, by the way, I'm already achieving. So now when I learned about, you know, this authenticity and being, you know, being your true authentic self, it was because I was constantly failing, constantly disappointing my superiors, and it put me into a place where all of a sudden I thought everything that I know is wrong.
Yeah.
And, you know, now all of a sudden I'm blind to the positive results that I'm achieving, because all anyone's focusing on is the process, the way that I'm achieving them.
Right.
And it, you know, it wasn't really going against policy, or it's not illegal or anything like that. It was just literally a different way of doing things. And so that's when it clicked for me to think, you know, wow, someone is trying to make me do things in a way that is not natural to me, and I'm failing at it.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, okay, you know, if you recognize that, you know, it's hard to model yourself. Even, let's say you're starting your own business, and you think, okay, I really like the way, you know, my mentor does business. I'm going to model my business plan or the way I do things exactly like that person. And then you're surprised when it doesn't work out.
Right.
Right? Because it's not you. It's
exactly.
not true to you. It's not your authentic self. It's maybe not doing it the way that you know, that comes naturally to you. So for me, that was a big realization, is that I was failing because I was doing something in a way that was not natural to me.
Right.
Doing it in a way that wasn't natural to me.
Which makes total sense. Absolute total sense.
And I don't know if it's different personalities. Like, I don't know, some people maybe are they're more flexible, and they can be molded into doing it different ways while still achieving the results. But for me, I really struggled with it.
More flexible, maybe, or there's people that are more cut out for the kiss ass way. well, if this is going to get me brownie points to do it this particular way and kiss this person's ass that I don't particularly like, then I'll do it, right? But I think knowing you like I do, and you and I are a lot alike in the way that we think, that doesn't work for us. That's like, I'm sorry, but I'm not rolling out the red carpet for someone that I really don't have a lot of respect for.
No.
I'm sorry, but I'm not, and
No.
I won't do it because I won't feel good. I don't feel good anyways by not behaving that way, because everybody looks at you like you're the rebel, but I wouldn't feel good about it for myself after knowing that I behaved that way, and that's not what I truly believed in.
No.
So
I remember a time when you and I had sort of just, you and I were struggling with trying to appease this new way of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And, we'd have our morning sessions, our private sessions, where we would just rant and rave and bitch about,
Mm-hmm.
how difficult this is, and why can't we're professionals, we've been doing this a long time, we were hired for our expertise, our clients are happy, our numbers are solid, our results are probably better than what our predecessors' results were.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we were failing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I remember you and I just kind of, throwing our hands up one day and saying, well, I guess we just fall in line, because let's just try it. Let's just fall in line and just see what happens. And I remember I left your office, and the moment I sat back down in mine, I was like, ugh, I just got this shudder, thinking, like, I'll be damned if I let somebody bully me around or push me around, because that's what it is. Like, in this particular situation, it's certain people dictating that this is, going to be their way. And in some regards, we're looking at it going, okay, first of all, like this person who's dictating this, what business is it of theirs? It's not even their department. Why are we letting that person dictate to us? The tail doesn't wag the dog here. And so, it was just, we had succumbed to it, but then 5 seconds later, when a situation arises, there's just this pent up emotion inside of us, and it's like, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. So we're the black sheep. We're both like the black sheep of the office, because we're the only ones that aren't falling in line.
Yeah.
And yet everyone is losing sight of the fact that our work is stellar.
Yeah.
Our actual productivity is stellar.
Yeah, we didn't. Okay, well, first of all, I do remember that day very clearly, because when you left my office, even though we had said, okay, yeah, we'll just fall in line, and you left my office, and I'm like, I kind of wanted to cry at that point. I was like, but I can't.
It's just
I
like
can't.
This feeling in your stomach where you're going, I'm going to explode.
Yeah.
There's no way I can just let somebody just bully me around into, making sure I invite the whole, office and their spouses and kids and dogs and cats to client meetings. That doesn't make sense, and the client doesn't want it anyway.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. I guess, and this could be a whole other topic, trying to analyze why that person was trying so desperately, to make us, rein us in.
Yeah. That'll be episode 2.
Stay tuned. Good leaders, right? Like we talk about good leaders.
Yeah.
Because we had said a number of times, why can't they just support the way that we do things? Why can't you encourage, maybe you might not agree with the steps I've taken, but it works. So why can't you just support that and and nurture that?
Yeah.
As a good leader. And maybe you've got 5 staff, and maybe they all do it differently, but they're all successful in their own way, because you're letting them all be authentic to themselves.
Exactly.
And then can you imagine what type of productivity and what type of success that you could achieve as a team?
Well, you'd have a happy workplace. You would have happy clients. You would just have an overall more positive environment rather than,
You know, like, I remember, like, gut-wrenching things like, you know, I draft an email to a client that, by the way, I've worked with for a number of years, and we have a great relationship. I would draft an email to a client, giving them some information, hit send, and instantly I think, I forgot to CC, you know, this other person who I know really wants me to CC them. And that client ends up responding with, great work, thanks for that. And I'm too scared to go and tell my leader that this client is thrilled with this result, because all this person will focus on is the fact that I did not include this person on the correspondence. So now I'm terrified to tell her anything.
Well, that is so incredibly, like, if you're somebody who's listening to this, it'd be like, that's so minor, but it's not minor. It's not minor at all when you're in it,
right,
and you're the one who's getting the feedback.
Well, the attitude, right? I mean, it's super awkward when, you know, you kind of walk around and you get, it's this person very much lets you know that they're disappointed with you.
Yeah.
And it's not a flat out, hey, by the way, I didn't like that. It's not a flat out conversation. It's the silent treatment. It glares. It's talking about you behind your back. Yeah, our leader did that.
Yes.
And you would know because you'd see her whispering, and then when you walked by, it was, you know, they stopped right away. Or you'd overhear, you know, you'd find out from someone else that they mentioned it, and you think, oh, you know what, I just don't want to deal with that. How awkward is that to walk into your office? And all because you didn't CC them on an email correspondence to the client where the client is thrilled with the results. Like, where's the focus, right?
It's ridiculous to be put in that situation. Definitely. Well, this isn't quite the same thing, but we had a meeting, a mandatory meeting that we had to go to, and there was preparation for it that had happened, and I was actually trying to take days off and was told that I had to come in for this meeting and had to prepare all of this stuff. So then after the meeting was over, same person as you, she did say, great job. However, when you're done your holidays, which was the next day, I'd like to talk to you about formatting. And all I could focus on was the formatting. And aside from the fact that formatting that had come previously with this person and her team is shit.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But I couldn't focus on anything else.
You couldn't enjoy your holiday now.
No, because I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? And I went back through everything that I had prepared, and I'm like, what's wrong with this?
And formatting is so subjective, right? Formatting is like, it's personal preference almost.
Yeah.
And we don't have any company standards, by the way.
Exactly.
So it's not like it's set in a manual and it has to be this point, this certain font and this size. There isn't anything.
Yeah.
So it's really just subjective to what you have to guess that day what this person's going to want. And actually, speaking of that situation, I recall that so yes, there was a ton of prep work into that those presentations, and I didn't leave it to the last minute, but I left myself 2 days. I underestimated how long it would take.
Yeah.
And I left it to the last 2 days. And this person had come to me saying, you do realize that the meetings are tomorrow? And I said, yeah, I know, they'll be done today. And I had every intention. If I had to stay up all night, they would have been done that day. But I ended up having them finished for later in the day around 4 o'clock. And I drove to her South office to run through them with her out of courtesy and respect, because if I hadn't done that, I would have gotten the silent treatment again. And she told you that she wasn't sure why I left it so long.
Yes.
And you told me that, and I thought, what does it matter? It's done.
Exactly.
And again, speaking about me behind my back to my coworker.
Which is which is completely demeaning for us as professionals.
Right.
Like, okay, A, we're adults. B, we work together and we're close.
Yeah.
And we always would consult each other on things. So, like, what was the purpose of telling me about you? Like, she had to have known that I would tell you. Had to have known.
Right, and like, was it to put something negative into your mind about me? Was it to try to break that bond a little bit? Like, just try to chip away at it? Try to discredit me a bit? Like, what was the purpose?
I honestly think that part of it was to try to break the bond that we had, and also, if I told you that she said that, maybe it was to put the negative in your mind. Like, forget what's going on in mine. But if I tell you, which 99% I'm going to tell you,
off my game.
Exactly. And it's just all these little things now. Like, now that I'm out of it, and I can look back, and all of these things pop in my head. I'm like, Yeah.
It's very interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole psychology of the behaviors and why, and the I don't know if it's the power struggle or if it's the control, trying to maintain control, trying to maintain the authority over things.
Yeah.
Like, this person's style is very much, they're the queen bee, and she's got all the worker bees who are all on the same level.
Yes.
Like there can't be a star.
No, never.
Right,
Ever,
there can't be a star. So if you have someone on your team who's even remotely a bit of an overachiever, or somebody who's ambitious, they're not going to survive, because that person's ambitious and tries to go above and beyond, and they're kicked back down.
Yeah.
Because they didn't follow the right procedures.
Exactly. Which, to me, doesn't make any sense, because I would, if I were in that position, I would want everybody to succeed. And if somebody is an overachiever and will go above and beyond, I would want to use them as the example for everybody else. Okay, like, come on, let's go, you guys. Like, let's build this team to be at this level, not all stay at mediocre.
That's right. Encourage them all to, be true to themselves, and it's natural to have the worker bees.
Yeah.
You're gonna have those people.
Oh yeah,
which
of course.
You need those people.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have the one or two who wants to aspire to be more, and who's gonna work hard, and who's gonna maybe work a little bit harder than everybody else to try to stand out. And those people, you need to take time to put the time into them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And
why wouldn't you?
There isn't that. It's like what you said, the office gossip. That is so obvious. And I noticed that pretty early on when that whole change came into effect, and I thought, as a leader, okay, fine. If you want to talk about somebody with, someone else that you're close with, do it in your office where it's not obvious. You don't stand out in the open area and the silent whispering and then the dead silence when people walk by. It's like, crap, I'm in high school.
There's obviously some insecurities there, too.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And it's funny because talking about this out loud now and how we're talking about being authentic to yourself, then I look at this person and I'm like, is she really authentic to herself? Is that who she really is? Like, is that her? Does anybody know who she is? Right?
That's a really good question, because she doesn't let people in. Everything is a front, right? I mean, for example, when that tragedy happened, there was a bit of a tragedy with an employee, and instead of doing what any normal person would do and offer your, I'm here to provide support. She just took over. She took over this poor woman's life. Tried to cram money down her throat 12 hours after this tragedy happened. And we're all kind of looking back going, can you just be real for 1 minute?
Yeah.
Why do you have to be on? Why do you have to be the hero, the savior, the one who's in control, the one?
Yeah.
I don't know, everyone is the way that they are for a reason. Right? And
True.
There must be something that's contributed to her being that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting too, when I resigned, I resigned on a Friday, and I think it was the Monday or Tuesday when she first came into the office in the morning, and she came into my office, she hugged me.
Really?
And that was the only time. But then on my last day, she said, I'm not saying anything to you. I'm not saying bye. I'm not, like, nothing. She goes, we're just going to carry on as normal. I'm kind of like, okay. So I walked out of her office. I didn't say bye to her. I didn't say anything aside from having gone through my pile of work with her. There was nothing. And to me, that's weird.
Cool.
That's weird. And yeah. So, like, again, it goes to the question, who are you?
It is interesting.
Yeah.
And you wonder, perhaps she could be a little bit better of a leader, or a little bit better at her job if she was truer to herself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You just never know.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is
to puzzle
interesting.
over that one.
And we'll never crack it. So
No. Unfortunately, we won't
No.
with that one. And the other part of that too is, with that personality and being as hard as she is, she's disintegrating the department.
Yeah, that's actually a really good term.
Yeah. And yes, we've all been replaced, which we all can be, but
for resignations.
Resignations.
Thank you. 4 resignations in 4 months, all
Yeah.
from the same department.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Has got to say something.
Yeah.
And we know how it will be spun. It won't be spun that anything's wrong with management. It'll be spun that we weren't cut out.
Yeah.
To be along for that ride.
Yes.
And we've been replaced with people who will be.
Yeah. And we gave up too fast.
Right.
We just gave up.
And you know what? I'm okay with that. Like,
yeah.
Not that we gave up, but that we've been replaced with people who are more suited for that.
Yeah.
For that style.
Yeah. Because
I'm all right.
Because our resigning shows who we are. It shows that we're staying true to ourselves.
Right.
And saying, no, this isn't for us. Good luck to you.
Yep.
All the best. And
we were able to recognize that.
Peace out.
That if we want to carry on and be successful in our futures, it's not going to be doing it that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is.
I would like to have you back for another episode after you have finished your week and started on your new journey.
Okay, I would be honored. Thank you.
I would hope that this whole episode will become a full series going forward, and we can continue on with that. So, may I invite you back?
You may. I would be honored. Thank you very much for having me.
And somewhere along the line, we will divulge who Miss Mystery is. But thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. And thanks, listeners.